Hi, it's Buddy Bob, and we are driving around the country on the Rock and Roll Travelogue to find the great pop and rock artists of the 1950s through 90s. While we're still in the second city, Chicago, we visited all the banned Chicago venues last time, and it's time to find some of the other great acts from the city of Chicago. So here is 535 East 35th Street. It was Doolittle Elementary School, now the James R. Doolittle Academy. This is where, around the corner, a young boy named Sam Cooke lived, and he went to school at Doolittle. He had great songs like You Send Me, The Chain Gang, and Cupid, and it helped get him inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. As a matter of fact, he was a charter member in 1986, and shortly after, he was inducted again as a member of the gospel group, the Soul Stirrers, where he really got his start. Sam was born in Mississippi. His family was a part of the Great Migration of the 1930s and 40s, the Great Migration to the north, in his case to Chicago. The Staple Singers lived around the corner in this area known as Bronzeville. They were at 506 East 33rd, right down the street. The home is now a high-rise apartment. Lou Rawls was a neighbor as well. Here I am with a man who had the big, booming voice, Lou Rawls. In addition to his hits, he was the voice of Budweiser beer for many, many years, and this picture is about 50 years old. Well, Lou Rawls, like Sam Cooke, and especially the Staple Singers, Dad Pops leading the way, got started singing gospel music before going pop. And we'll visit Pop Staples' birthplace in Mississippi in another later episode of Rock and Roll Travelogue. We'll also stop at the Stax recording studio in Memphis, where the Staples recorded some giant hit records. Just one example, I'll Take You There, is a 1970s classic. Well, here is Wendell Phillips High School at 244 East Pershing. It's on the southern edge of Bronzeville. Sam Cooke went to high school here, as did Nat King Cole, who was a pop singer, but more on the easy listening side. But his daughter Natalie Cole had many hits in the 70s and 80s, and the jazz great Herbie Hancock went to high school here too. Rock and Roll Travelogue heads to Grant Park, downtown Chicago. It's the home of Lollapalooza. It's a 4-day mega event in Chicago. It's been here since 2005. Have you ever been to Lollapalooza? Grant Park's got a stunning view of the Chicago skyline, and it's the site of one of the world's largest fountains, Buckingham Fountain. You remember this being part of the open of the TV show Married with Children. Time to visit Kenwood Academy at 5015 Blackstone. It's in the Hyde Park area of Chicago. The great Yvette Marie Stevens, who became known as Chaka Khan, went to school here. She dropped out to become a member of the Black Panthers. She was a solo artist, but before that she had a big hit in the 70s with a band called Rufus and Tell Me Something Good. Chaka Khan, by the way, is a cousin from Lou Rawls, and Chaka is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Let's head downtown for 20 North Wacker Drive. It's the home of the Civic Opera House. And you say, Bob, what does opera have to do with rock and roll? After all, this is the Rock and Roll Travelogue. Well, it's a long story, so hear me out. I'll shorten it up. This is where the Joffrey Ballet performs. They'd come from New York via Los Angeles in the 1990s. And it was rough going at first. So one of the trustees approached one of her favorite artists, Prince, asking him to see what he could do to help the Joffrey Ballet. So he came to a show, loved the ballet, started writing dance songs for ballet, and the crowds couldn't stay away. So Prince saved the Joffrey Ballet in Chicago. The crowds got younger, too, which was a boon, of course, to the Civic Opera. Bet you didn't know this story. Well, up to the north side of Chicago, the home of Bugs Moran and his Prohibition gang, the arch nemesis of Al Capone on the South Side back in Prohibition days in the 1930s. I've always been fascinated by this period in history, particularly in Chicago. So as a part of our rock and roll travelogue, my Sherpa and I looked unsuccessfully for about a half an hour trying to find the site of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929 that was supposed to kill Bugs Moran but got most of his gang members instead. We didn't find it on Clark Street, but we did get to the Metro in Wrigleyville at 3730 North Clark. It's down the street from Wrigley Field, which is the home of the Cubs. This building was used for a variety of activities until it became the Metro and would start to book up-and-coming acts like the Ramones, REM, Metallica, the Bangles, Billy Idol, and many, many more. And one Chicago band that would become big stars played their very first gig here, the Smashing Pumpkins. They became big alt-rock stars in the 90s with songs like 1979, Shakedown, 1979, Tonight, Tonight, and Bullet with Butterfly Wings. Billy Corgan was the lead singer. And Billy today owns a tea shop called Madame Zuzu's with his wife in Highland Park. It's about 25 miles north of Chicago. Not long after I dropped in last year, somebody drove their car through the window of Madame Zuzu's. Billy Corgan's mother-in-law was hurt, but the good news is Madame Zuzu's back in business and everybody seems to be okay. Well, now over to the famous Aragon Ballroom at 1106 West Lawrence. It's on the north side of Chicago. Outside the ballroom are pictures of many of the acts that have played here over the years. You'll recognize Jagger and Bono, David Bowie, Tom Petty, just to name a few, pictured outside the Aragon Ballroom. One more before we go. West Suburbs, LaGrange, the home of Lyons Township High School. This is where James Peterick and Frankie Sullivan led their new band called Survivor into action for the very first time. Eye of the Tiger from Rocky III in 1982 was the signature song of Survivor. Peterick, by the way, sang lead on a 1970s hit called Vehicle by his band at the time called the Ides of March. And the opening lyric line still knocks me out today. I'm the friendly stranger in the black sedan. I'm your vehicle, baby. Well, my black sedan is done for the day, but we'll see you next time on another episode of Rock and Roll Travelogue. I'm your buddy Bob saying until next time, good heart and stout luck.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.